You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. You know, as we're building the business that we need so that we can live the life that we want, a key component of our life and our business is our relationships. And relationships can be very challenging in business and in life. Did you know that every 13 seconds someone gets divorced in America? And that 3 out of 4 divorced people will remarry. Our guests today have added to those statistics by remarrying a total of 5 times between them. Sonji is Stephen's 4th wife, which he affectionately refers to her as number last. They both describe their current relationship as still being on their honeymoon, 11 blissful years, and that has launched a new endeavor for them. Stephen and Sonji Millet are transformational speakers and relationship bliss coaches. Their diverse backgrounds uniquely qualify them to provide creative solutions to relationship problems. They have helped their clients solve such problems as lack of intimacy, how to communicate what you really want and desire, and how to talk about money without fighting. I can't wait to figure out how you do that. Well, today they are going to provide tips on how to reignite your passion to create life-affirming relationships. In their best-selling book, Talk Straight Dammit, Stephen and Sonji share their stories and processes on how to create a life of bliss. Stephen and Sonji Millet, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I think this is probably the first interview I've done with 2 people at the same time. You guys are really a dynamic couple. And I want to hear all about your history. How did you get started doing this? What is your background? And I know that you have had many difficulties. You've overcome many obstacles and challenges. Tell us a little bit about your history and what brought you to where you are today.
Well, to start with, my background has been pretty much the roller coaster ride. Growing up, being moved all across the country with a mom that suffered from severe mental illness, being thrown back and forth between one parent to the next from coast to coast. Coming out of dropping out of high school, and as you mentioned earlier, I'm on my 4th wife now, and 3 divorces were very difficult, which would include bankruptcy, house foreclosure, and the list goes on and on. But realizing that life is what you make it, is not what happens to you, and so always looking for a better future. Then I found Sonji.
Yeah. So Stephen's passion about sharing his ups and downs. A lot of our friends would say, hey, you need to write a book. And so together we worked on Talk Straight Dammit. We came up with, we looked at our relationship and we analyzed it in depthly. And then we also talked to a lot of other couples and came up with the tips that we have inside the book about building a good relationship, a blissful relationship.
What a powerful testimony you have of having overcome so many challenges. And some people might say, well, you've been through so many different marriages. How can you tell other people what a good marriage is all about? But my perspective is you're exactly the type of people who can teach us what works and what doesn't work. You are a successful example of someone who has turned their mess into a message. And so I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom to help people who are struggling in this area, struggling with their relationships. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and who do you help? Who do you work with?
So we work with couples and people who are just coming out of a bad relationship who feel that they need to make sure that they find the right one next time. You were talking about in the introduction, Stephen, having been married 3 times, people might ask me, why on earth would I want to get back in with someone who's been like he has been? But the thing that I realized was that he analyzed himself. He thought about what he had did. He gave me great answers for what went wrong on his part as well as his other partner's part. And that's what we want to be able to help people do, to analyze their relationships and to understand what they're doing to attract certain types of relationships and what they can do to improve and attract the ones they really want and desire.
One of the main things that we like to let people know is that true happiness is a real possibility. Many people have given up on that based on their experience in life and what they see around them. But we want to let people know that you can have a magnificent relationship.
How did you two meet?
That's a funny one.
Yeah.
We met online.
Okay.
On a website called blackpeoplemeet.com. Stephen paid a whopping $10 to get a chance to talk to this beautiful, wonderful lady.
$10. Well, they should have people lined up then.
I had been on there about a year and a half and had gotten tired of it. And I let my membership lapse, and I was scrolling through the pictures, as I like to call the usual suspect, because you're looking at the same pictures for a year and a half. And up popped Sonji. I said, hey, I'd like to talk to her. I read her profile. She looked pretty good and sounded pretty good. So I got my credit card out and paid my big $10, and we've been together ever since.
Actually, from that night on, that's what's so amazing about this. And we met 2 days later in person and been together ever since.
Wow. Well, what a great story. And it is funny, and it's amazing that you can really get that much bliss in your life for the mere sum of $10. That's just pretty amazing.
Gives a new meaning to a cheap date, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. So you've been married now for 11 blissful years. You describe your current relationship as still being on your honeymoon. So obviously you have discovered a secret to a happy marriage and a good relationship. And these are the secrets that you are now sharing with people in your book and in your different programs. From your perspective, and based on your experience, what's the most common problem you see with helping the people that you help?
One of the main problems is most people approach life and relationships from a scarcity model. And so when you're coming from a scarcity model, you feel like it's either or. And we've learned to live in a world of and. You can have what you want and I can have what I want. It just takes a little time, a little negotiation, a little patience and communication. So when you live from a place of abundance, you know everybody can get what they want.
It's just a matter of figuring out how.
And I guess most people don't have the patience and the wherewithal to work through those issues. And what you're saying makes so much sense. It reminds me of Stephen Covey with his concept of win-win relationships. And that's what you're describing is win-win. And the scarcity mentality that Stephen references is referred to as win-lose. It's like, for me to get my way, it means that someone else has to lose. They can't have their way if I get my way. And so what you're describing is a synergistic process where we approach life not with a win-lose mentality that for me to win, someone else has to lose. Instead, we approach it from a win-win, that together we can both get what we want, and the outcome is going to be better than one person getting one thing and the other person feeling like they have been cheated or lost in the transaction, didn't get what they wanted. Is that is that a fair way to describe your approach?
That would be exactly correct.
Yes, we look at and talk about keeping score in the relationship. When you keep score, you are measuring yourself against somebody else. And often you keep being the scorekeeper will always come up at a deficit. So then you think you're losing. And so we talk about not keeping score in relationships to make them more successful.
That's really a key ingredient there. I think you've really hit on something, because if we're keeping score, and you see this manifest itself in arguments of, why won't you do this for me because I did X, Y, and Z for you? And so that shows someone is keeping score, keeping track of debits and credits, pluses and minuses. And then when we feel like one side is giving more or taking more than they should, it creates this feeling of imbalance. You're saying stop keeping score and do what? Just work it out, or what do we do as opposed to keeping score, and how do we get rid of that scorecard?
One of the things that has to happen is that you have to be quick to forgive, let things go, and you have to plan your life together. There was a conference I went to years ago that said, schedule your fun because your problems will schedule themselves.
That's so true.
You have to plan to have fun in your relationship. You have to plan to engage in activities that your spouse likes to do unbegrudgingly. And she has to be willing to engage in activities I like to do. And putting the relationship first. We get so caught up in the kids, the job, the household chores, whatever organizations we may be belonging to, and all of that comes into play. And if you do that first, by the time you get to the relationship, it's like, I don't have any energy for this.
Yes. And if you're putting that other person's goals and best interests first when you're working together, you kind of forget what you're doing and keeping score. I want to make sure that Stephen is successful in all that he does. And so I do all my activities to help him with that. And then when I got something that's coming up that's important to me, he puts all of his time and effort into helping me with that thing. So we're not keeping score of, oh, I gave you more time than you gave me, or you did more things for me. We are just focused on the goal, the end goal. And I think a lot of couples do not put together goals for themselves, and that would help get rid of the scorekeeping.
Yeah, it's really hard to play on the same team with someone if the members of the team are all going in different directions, with different goals and different outcomes that they imagine. If we're going to play on the same team, we all have to be pushing in the same direction and working together and helping one another. So that's a really great way of thinking about this idea that you are discussing. The name of the book is Talk Straight Dammit by Stephen and Sonji Millet. Tell us about that title, Talk Straight. What is the idea and the principle behind this concept of talk straight?
Well, I'll let Sonji tell the story of how we came up with the title, and then I'll tell you
the principle,
principle behind it.
Sure.
So Stephen was going through something physically with his body, and we didn't know it was happening, and it caused him to walk with a limp, and I call it a pimp walk, okay? And I told him one day, I said, walk straight, damn it. And we later found out that his spinal cord was pinching in, and it was affecting his walk. So that made me feel bad. But then we would talk about events and things like that, and he wouldn't remember him. I said, well, you need to listen straight, damn it. And he said, well, you got to talk straight, damn it. So that turned into what he will tell you more about.
Right. And so that's how we came up with the name of the book. But when we say talk straight, oftentimes you think it's about how you speak to someone else. But this book really focuses on how you speak to yourself. Are you speaking to yourself in negative, limiting terms? Terms that I can't, I'm not enough. Terms that I'm not capable. And so how you speak to yourself is how you reflect to the world.
And the relationship.
As well as your relationship. So if you learn to change the language in your head to I can, I will, and I am, those types of affirmation statements will begin to get you in the mode to experience this type of bliss and happiness in your life. And you're not looking at yourself as a victim in the world.
Yes. And because you're talking straight to yourself, then you learn and become better at talking straight to others.
So it's about, before we can speak truthfully and with love and with respect for our partner, we have to have that same level of talking straight to ourselves. If we are self-deceived, we certainly can't speak truthfully and lovingly and straight with anyone else. Is that the general idea?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the way you treat yourself will be a reflection of your ability to treat others. If you treat yourself well, this is one thing that we focus on in chapter 6 of our book. It says, love the one you're with. And the one you're with the most is yourself. When you learn to take good care of yourself, that puts you in a position to be able to take care of others. For you're serving from a full cup rather than running around doing everything, running on fumes. And when we do that, we get frustrated, disappointment, and it's easily to become resentful and bitter because your cup is not full.
That makes so much sense. And we see this happening over and over again, especially with women. And I'm sure this applies to men as well, but with women, especially who are serving others, taking care of the kids, many of them working to supplement the income, and then coming home and taking care of the husband, taking care of the children, taking care of the household, and giving and giving and giving and running on fumes. Does that resonate with you, Sonji?
Exactly. That's what I did in my first marriage. I gave and gave and came in on fumes, and I didn't know what I wanted out of life. So now that I reflected and understood what I wanted, and Stephen taught me how to talk straight, damn it. So he told me when we were first dating that if you stick with him and listen to him, the Millet magic will satisfy all my needs. And I'm like, what? And actually it has.
So you are a living testimony of bliss after 11 years. And so what a great, I can't think of a better way to demonstrate and to illustrate the wisdom of your approach, than to look at the fruit of your bliss and the fact that you are now, in relationship bliss coaching and motivational speaking, Blisstopia University, and all of the different, resources that you have created to help people. If we could give our listeners some self-help right now, and maybe suggest 2 or 3 things that they can do to learn to talk straight, or to learn to love themselves so that they can love other people. However you want to frame it, is there something that we can offer our listeners right now that would help them see some immediate improvement in how they talk to themselves and how they talk and relate to others?
Absolutely. The first thing is learn to appreciate who you're with. Because what you appreciate. We got that from Lynn Twist's book, is that we all in life have an innate need to be appreciated. And when you appreciate your spouse, that kind of energizes them to want to do more. And so as you learn to appreciate what is, not focusing on what didn't happen, how much you didn't get, be thankful and use little simple words like thank you and please. They go a long way. We get so used to a routine, we expect people to do stuff, but they didn't have to do it. And so we should say thank you and please often. Just the kindness in your voice can change the whole mood of a situation.
That's very true.
I would add to that by saying to seek understanding before being understood. That's something that Stephen Covey also says, because this allows you to understand how to appreciate them and what they're looking for. It improves your communication, because we say communication is one of our number one goals. Read books together, learn about them so that you can understand them. And then once you understand them, it's easier to communicate what you want.
It makes a big difference to your approach. The subtitle of our book is How to Turn Negative Limiting Beliefs into Positive, Powerful Actions to Create Bliss. And what we have to do is take an approach that's honest and that's correct. There's statements that we make that put us at an instant deficit. And I know I'm going to kind of raise a little hair on the back of a few ladies' neck with this next statement, is that we've all heard the statement, a woman's work is never done. And when you hear that, if you believe that, you instantly put yourself at a deficit where you can never get your stuff done. The good Lord put 24 hours in a day, and I think he knew what he was doing when he did it. And we're either unorganized or trying to do too much.
So how do we find that balance? I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but I think we are living in a society where everyone they feel overworked, overwhelmed, and stressed out. How do we work within that boundary of the 24 hours and take care of ourselves and take care of the things that we have to take care of without burning up or burning out?
You know, everybody says find balance, and people think of that as a 50-50 proposition. But what you really need to do is just identify what you need to accomplish and give yourself enough time and include rest and relaxation for yourself.
Sonji gave me some of the best advice I ever got. I would come home frustrated from work, and I was head of a department, and I had specific expectations for my team. And she made a simple statement. She said, lower your expectations. The only reason we're frustrated is because we expect too much in 24 hours. We expect too much out of people around us. And as far as that feeling of overwhelm, our coach, Susie Carter, gave us this excellent definition about being overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a choice. It's like eating an elephant. You can do it one bite at a time, or you can look at it and tell yourself you're overwhelmed.
Have you ever eaten an elephant before, Stephen?
No, he doesn't eat elephants. That's not one of his favorite meats. So you were also talking about tips to tell our folks. Scheduling really helps. And make sure, as Stephen said, I'll say it again, that you schedule your fun and your relaxation. Because I'm one of the biggest culprits. I go till the end of the day, and my husband has to tell me, baby, you need a Snickers. Snickers means to us is that you've seen a commercial of Snickers where the person changes into somebody different because they're tired or they're overworked or what have you.
They become hangry.
He'll tell me I need a Snickers. Exactly. Don't be hangry. So he'll say, you need a Snickers. And that immediately tells me, okay, I pushed it past the limit, and my husband notices it, and I need to adjust and back up and take a moment and break and breathe.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we have in place.
Make the relationship fun.
Yeah. I love the practical tips. And people think, well, you know, this is really simple stuff, but it's the simple things that tend to throw us up and throw us off track. It's the simple things that derail our relationships. It's the simple things that confuse our communications, that create misunderstanding. So these are really excellent tips and reminders for crafting and designing the life and the relationship and the marriage that we want. How would working with someone like you really improve people's chances for success in this area? What do you offer them?
So we offer accountability, and that's the number one thing. a lot of people get tips, they read books, they come back, they're excited for the first few days, and then it just dies. So working with a professional helps you to be accountable to what you set as your goals so that we can either have daily check-in or a monthly check-in and also self-correct during the moment when things are going wrong.
You know, that's so true. And with coaching, with a coaching relationship, I've had clients, and you've probably had them too, where you give them homework and they go all week and they do the homework the day before they are supposed to meet with you. And that speaks, I think, to exactly what you're talking about. There is power in accountability there. They don't want to show up for that coaching call having not completed the homework. So even if they don't do it until the last minute, there's still that accountability factor that they're not going to have trying to do this by themselves. So I think the message is get the help, get the support, get the resources, and get the accountability that you need to really create the transformation that you want.
Exactly. You can do it on your own, but it's going to take a lot longer.
And a lot harder.
And it's a lot harder. And you have somebody now to bounce ideas off of, come up with new ways to do something that didn't work, correct in the moment, all of that.
Yeah. Plus you guys have been there. You've done that. You bought the t-shirt. You have already been around the block several times. And so just being able to leverage that wisdom can help people to really avoid some of the mistakes that they wouldn't have to make if they would just take advantage of your experience and expertise. What are you working on right now, Stephen and Sonji, that's got you really excited that you'd like to share?
Thank you for that opportunity. We just finished a new course. It's a 6-week course, and it's called Ignite Your Sexy, Mastering Intimacy. And in that course, we cover topics like communication, having fun, and what was my third one? Oh, bringing your sexy back.
Yeah, that's a big one. Well, that's it.
And in addition to that, we have been coaching our clients, and we're really excited about helping people and getting them moving in the right direction. So our clients are experiencing really good success.
That's really amazing. And the fact that you have overcome so many obstacles, so many personal challenges, and that you're able to now give back from a place of abundance and from the place of a full cup, as Stephen was talking about. It's really, really exciting. And I'm so happy that you were able to share your time with us today. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I would leave your listeners with our 3 main objectives: communication, kindness, and fun. If you can focus on those 3 things, communication, kindness, and fun, you can ignite your relationship. You can ignite your sexy. You can even learn to have fun with, regardless of how much money you have or don't have.
Or who you're with. So we want your listeners to visit our website. We have a free gift out there for them called Secrets to Igniting Your Sexual Bliss. And if you sign up for that, we will send that to you free of charge. And our website's name is myblistopia.com. So that's www.myblistopia.com.
Perfect.
So thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And we'll put that website link on the Rebelpreneur website underneath this episode as well, so that our listeners can check you out. myblistopia.com is the address. I've been speaking with Stephen and Sonji Millet. They are transformational speakers and relationship bliss coaches, and they help their clients solve problems such as lack of intimacy, how to communicate what you really want and desire, how to talk about money without fighting, and how to ignite your sexy, among other things. So if you want to find out more, as well as their best-selling book, Talk Straight Dammit, you can visit them at myblistopia.com. Well, Stephen and Sonji, it's been a real pleasure to get to know you. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom and your life experience with us on Rebelpreneur Radio today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.